Now at 7 on WKYT this morning, people living in Germany have a cautious all clear after a mall shooting that left 9 people dead and others injured.
Back here in Kentucky, police in Clark County said they found more than a dozen animals that had been neglected. What the runners of the home had to say ahead.
And this weekend is the biggest fundraiser of the year for the Woodford County Humane Society. We're looking ahead to the big event on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Saturday morning to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
And I'm Sean Moody. Weekend is here and the steamy weather is still here too.
Yeah, but you can't complain. It is summertime, right, Mike?
I mean, it's normal. We normally expect temperatures to be up into the upper 80s and lower 90s. It's the humidity, though, that's making things feel a little more uncomfortable. A beautiful start, nonetheless, though, here on our live sky camera here in Lexington. And if we take a look across the state, we're really not seeing very much anywhere. The cloud cover is beginning to thicken up a little bit over the east and over the west, and we will see that into the afternoon today, working its way back into central Kentucky. But for now, high pressure keeping most of us clear. But as that continues to move to the east of us, remember that flow around high pressure is clockwise rather, and that is pulling in that hot, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to continue to fuel conditions and temperatures, of which right now are in the lower 70s and upper 60s. These are the most comfortable that they will be all day long. It isn't until the afternoon that we really begin to heat up. But as I touched on, the thunderstorms, those are key because that cloud cover could work to limit our temperatures. Coming up, I'll show you the impact that those thunderstorms will have on temperatures and when we expect those thunderstorms to even get here.
Thank you, Mike. Now we start this morning with international news. People living in part of Germany have a cautious all clear this morning after authorities say a shooting spree left 9 people dead and others injured.
Yeah, this happened around a busy shopping mall in Munich. German police say they believe a single gunman was responsible and that he is among the dead. Riley Carlson reports from London.
Cell phone video shows a gunman apparently opening fire on people outside a McDonald's restaurant near a Munich shopping mall just before 6 Friday evening. People ran for safety as gunshots rang out. Security forces shut down the city's transit system for several hours as they hunted for gunmen. At one point, authorities were searching for up to 3 suspects armed with long guns. Munich police are calling the attack suspected terrorism. The U.S. condemned the assault. President Obama says the U.S. stands with Germany.
Germany is one of our closest allies, so we are going to pledge all the support that they may need.
Police said they found the body of a man they believe was the shooter. He's been identified as 18-year-old Sambol Hamoudani Ali, an Iranian who lived in Munich. Officials believe he acted alone. Riley Carlson for CBS News, London.
A Boone County family vacationing in Munich found themselves caught in the chaos. You can see in this cell phone video from inside a restaurant there. Kim Trenkamp and her family were eating at a restaurant near the shooting scene when people inside heard popping noises. There you can see she's gotten outside the restaurant. She says people in the restaurant took cover, fearing it was gunfire. This is the cell phone video she shot.
But it was enough panic for all of us to start diving under tables and trying to run, everyone around us. Benches were being knocked over, tables were being knocked over, and we were hunkered down under the tables at that point.
She says the noises they were hearing in the restaurant were not gunfire. They found out those were actually glass mugs breaking. She said her family is safe.
A group of central Kentucky Muslims held a protest against the Islamic State, saying the terrorist group is not Islam. Around 50 people attended the protest at Triangle Park in Lexington last night. The group's organizers said they were also concerned about what they called negative Islamic rhetoric from this week's Republican National Convention. The people at the protest said ISIS is made up of cowards.
We heard it from a lot of people saying, why don't you speak up? And here are we speaking up and saying, hey, ISIS, they do not present Islam. And that's the main message we're trying to pass to the American people. And we're not afraid of ISIS. And I think ISIS, their demise is coming.
The protest organizer thinks these type of demonstrations will help get rid of negative perceptions of Islam.
Police in Clark County said they found more than a dozen animals that had been neglected. Investigators say neighbors called to complain after seeing some dogs in the middle of Melbourne Street in Winchester. When police got to the house, they say they found unlivable conditions inside. The runners of the home were livid that police had even been called.
I get food and water every day. Oh wow, there's some cats running around. What the they've been running around up here.
You have to clean up after animals, and obviously it's been weeks or months since anybody's, or maybe never, tried to clean up after them and take care of them.
The Clark County Animal Shelter took 15 animals from that home. The shelter is taking donations to help care for them now. We've got a link to how you can help at WKYT.com.
So today in Woodford County, people will eat and dance, all for a good cause.
Yeah, it's time for the Woodford Humane Society's biggest fundraiser of the year, Freedom Fest. WKYT's Mike Byers at the live desk getting us ready for that event. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Sean. Today is the last day of the Freedom Fest at Ashford Stud in Versailles. There's plenty going on, all to help out the Woodford County Humane Society. Freedom Fest started 17 years ago around the 4th of July. Organizers say they started the festival to celebrate the freedom animals have from homelessness and neglect. Today's event will have lots of food and, of course, local beer and bourbon. The distractions will also play live music, and there will be auctions and raffles. There are more than 200 items in the auction. One of the featured items is a piece of horse racing history, one of Triple Crown winner American Pharoah's halters. Ashford Stud is now the home of American Pharoah and the host of this year's festival. Freedom Fest picks back up at 5:30 this evening. The cost of the event ranges between $40 and $110. All the money raised goes to the Woodford County Humane Society. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. Good summer day to get out and do some of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's a great cause.
The Freedom Fest is just one of many events going on today around central Kentucky.
Yeah, here's a look at what else is happening today. In Versailles, Callie's Homestyle Restaurant is holding a fundraiser for a boy with brain cancer. It's going to take place from 11 to 3 o'clock today. There will be karaoke, a cookout, and a bake sale.
Over in Clark County, there's a concert to cure diabetes at 3 o'clock this afternoon at the county fairgrounds over on Ironworks Road. It's $10 per carload to get in there.
And celebrate summertime in historic downtown Georgetown at the Party on the Square. The group Superfecta performs tonight, starting at 7 at 100 Court Street. The concert is free and open to the public. Local food and drink vendors will also be there. The 27th annual Briar Fest continues today at the Kentucky Horse Park. Kids can meet horses up close, take pony rides, visit a petting zoo, and participate in plenty of activities and crafts. Tomorrow is the last day of the festival. A limited edition Briar model horse is included with every ticket purchase.
And enjoy the summer with Lexington's latest concert series, Lakeside Live, happening over at Lexington Green. It continues this evening. Ray's Music take the stage tonight at 6 o'clock. There'll be food and drinks from local vendors at that concert. Pets and wheelchairs and lawn chairs are welcome. And hey, if you're a fan of Pokemon Go, you are welcome to catch them all there. They got a few of them at Lexington Green.
Oh my goodness.
It's 7:08 on your Saturday.
Picture like someone walking into the water there because they're trying to catch one of those Pokemon Go.
They are all over the place.
What are they catching? What are they called?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yes, you do.
I don't know.
You don't know what they're called that they're catching?
Well, the Pokemon. I don't know the individual character names.
Oh, okay. I think he does.
It's 7:08 on your Saturday morning.
The latest film in the Star Trek franchise comes into theaters this weekend. A preview still ahead this morning.
And some sea creatures in California, not Pokemon, got a taste of fame, and it's taken over.
How do you know?
Maybe it is. That story's coming up after Mike's forecast.
Hot, humid air continuing to dominate the forecast. And coming up, I'll show you when we are tracking storms appearing. That's going to make the sunny start to our day look a little cloudy and wet.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Mike Linden.
The weekend is here, and the dog days of summer haven't gone anywhere. The hot, humid, and hazy conditions are going to stick around through the weekend, and it all gets started again here on Saturday morning. Defender Radar Network just not showing us anything right now, although remember yesterday we started sunny, but then the storms popped up as we head into our afternoon. That is likely to occur once again today with high pressure pulling in that hot and humid air from the Gulf of Mexico, fueling those thunderstorms. Temperature-wise, we're still right around room temperature. This is as good as it'll be be as we get started here in the morning in the lower 70s and upper 60s. Most spots pretty much right along that point as we get started here on Saturday morning. Now, off to our west is the core of the heat. This is where we're finding the triple digits, the drier heat. This is where things have certainly been uncomfortable over the past several days. For us in Kentucky, though, we're kind of on the fringe of that core of the heat. We're getting the humidity, though, along with it from the Gulf of Mexico. It's for that reason, though, that with that humidity and the moisture in the air, that we are seeing thunderstorm development. That's actually keeping temperatures down. If you have clouds and it's limiting the sunshine, you're not going to warm up as much as you normally would. That's what has happened here the past several days. We were supposed to hit right around 90, 91 yesterday. We hit around 88 degrees. The clouds kept those temperatures down. That could occur once again today. It just really hinges on when we will see those thunderstorms. They look likely to pop up as we head into the second half of our day today, though, with temperatures settling right around the same point in the lower 90s and upper 80s. Again, have that water bottle with you if you're going outside, and be sure to watch the kids. You don't want to let them get dehydrated as you head outside today. This is your hour-by-hour forecast, and this will just show you the pop-up nature of these storms. We'll start you off at 8 o'clock this morning, not seeing much, but then into the afternoon, there you go, essentially bubbling up out of nothing. This is later this afternoon, around 4 o'clock. How about Sunday? Let's check right around the same time, 4 or 5 o'clock. There they are, bubbling up out of nothing. And then as we head into Sunday evening, staying with us and getting a little bit more widespread as we head into our Monday. That's going to be the case almost each and every day. It's the summer. Thunderstorms are pretty run-of-the-mill here in Kentucky, and we will continue to see more of them here over the next 7 days. But of course, with thunderstorms, it's not just the lightning that you're getting, it's rainfall, and we could see a lot of it in quite a few spots. Western and southern Kentucky between about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, with the rest of the state anywhere between 1 inch to 1.5 inches. This could be cause for flash flooding as we head into next week, and that will be certainly something that we will have to keep our eye on. But our 7-day forecast here, not exactly the prettiest here moving forward as we head into the upcoming work week, but a typical one at that. It's mid to late July. You typically expect to find heat and thunderstorms. That's what we're getting, and we'll see it almost each and every day this week. Hopefully you mowed the lawn, and if you haven't, you might want to get outside right now and do it while temperatures are comfortable and things are relatively dry.
Well, don't do it now. What is it, 7:15?
The neighbors will love you for that.
Yes, you may be like, what is Mike doing?
Hey, well, you know, everyone can get up and mow their lawn. Just have a lawn mowing party. Wake up the whole neighborhood. Go for it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
It's too early. So California, I hear, is a place of celebrities, movie stars, high fashion, and all sorts of famous places. Now, Cali is home to one of the biggest viral celebs.
Yeah, the humpback whales in the state's Half Moon Bay have gotten a taste of fame. There you go. And they like it. Earlier this week, the whales stole the spotlight when they popped up next to this paddleboarder. Watch this. Wow. Those whales surfaced yet again in the bay. This time they're photobombing that kayaker on a fishing trip. Seems the fame bug has caught these mammals hook, line, and sinker. Amazing.
I'm more amazed by the guy in the kayak that's able to maintain his calm, his coolness. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. So big, just right there next to the paddleboard. Unbelievable. Very cool.
So when WKYT This Morning returns,
we've got a lot more coming your way. If you're looking for a way to cool down, the 5th movie in the Ice Age series hits theaters this weekend. That's coming up on WKYT This Morning. Welcome back. 7:18 now on your Saturday morning. Star Trek Beyond warps into theaters this weekend, but if you're not a Trekkie, there are some other less stellar options.
Plus new footage from the animated Trolls movie was shown at Comic-Con in San Diego. Rick DeMiguela has your morning look at entertainment.
You really want to head back out there, huh?
Star Trek Beyond is expected to beam up significant numbers at the box office this weekend. Industry experts are predicting the third film in the rebooted franchise to bring in between $50 and $60 million. With Fast and Furious 6 director Justin Lin at the helm, Beyond puts the crew of the Enterprise against an all-new villain played by Idris Elba. Paramount didn't wait for weekend numbers to announce the movie's sequel, though. Variety reported earlier in the week that Star Trek 4 has already been greenlit.
You gotta make a win!
Wow!
My wish came true.
More animated fare hit screens this weekend as Ice Age Collision Course finally arrives in North American theaters. The 5th installment of the series has been rolling out overseas since the end of June, where it has already brought in more than $134 million. Pundits predict it will add $25 million more to its total. Warner Brothers wades into the waters of PG-13 horror with the release of Lights Out. The movie stars Teresa Palmer and Maria Bello and pits a family against a malevolent spirit which can only exist in the shadows. Experts forecast an opening between $13 and $15 million for the fright flick.
But I want everybody just to go and watch the movie and enjoy themselves.
Ghostbusters actress Leslie Jones is back on Twitter. Jones had quit the social media site earlier in the week following a campaign of racial and sexual harassment by online trolls. Jones has now returned to the social media site with a tweet declaring who else is going to live tweet Game of Thrones.
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
A more pleasant variety of troll was featured at San Diego Comic-Con. 20th Century Fox and DreamWorks screened new footage from the animated Trolls movie during a Comic-Con presentation. The movie is billed as being from the creators of Shrek and stars the voices of Anna Kendrick, Justin Timberlake, John Cleese, and Gwen Stefani. Trolls rolls into theaters November 4th.
Music is psychotic, antisocial freak. Careful.
Is that any way to talk to the Joker? Fandango has released an extended look at Jared Leto's villainous performance as the clown prince of crime in Suicide Squad. The new trailer features new footage from the movie, including scenes with Harley Quinn and Batman. Suicide Squad hits movie screens August 5th. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Rick Damigella.
All right, 7:21, your Saturday. There's still plenty ahead here on WKYT this morning.
Yeah, sports is next.
The dog days of summer continue here in the Bluegrass, and we are in store for yet another hot and humid afternoon. Getting started on the Defender radar network, we're not seeing very much thick cloud cover yet, a little off to our west, and things starting to form some clouds over eastern Kentucky, but bear in mind it has been a little wet at the surface, so we're seeing some very early starting clouds here on Saturday morning. High pressure built up over the east coast that's keeping us relatively free of that cloud cover, but as that shifts to the east of us, that will open us up to the hot and humid air. Remember, around high pressure, clockwise, right? So that means that we are looking at the hot, humid air essentially getting pulled right in to Kentucky. That's going to occur as we head into our afternoon today, and that's going to push those temperatures right back up into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Of course, with thunderstorm development, the cloud cover could actually work to limit our temperatures. Rather than getting into the mid to low 90s, we might just settle right into the mid to high 80s. Really all hinges on where we see those storms popping up. And with this pop-up nature, it's very difficult to pinpoint where those storms will occur. But regardless, we are set up for that to occur with temperatures that are going to follow suit right around the upper 80s and lower 90s. Again, the dog days of summer are well and truly here. Brian Milam is back in next with sports.
The football Wildcats have a new place to call home for the upcoming season. On Friday, UK opened up its brand new football practice facility for the media to take a tour. The new 100,000 square foot, $45 million palace is located just outside of Commonwealth Stadium, the top training facility in the country. It has to be. The facility has been in the works and under construction for a long time, and now it is finally a reality.
Now it's a finished product. Now we're showing them a finished stadium. Now we're showing them a finished building. Now we're showing them we can walk into the indoor. We've been telling them for 6 months that little SEC sign on the wall, that's a real door behind there. Now they can walk through it and see it.
2 weeks ago, former UK hurdler Kendra Harrison suffered the disappointment of not making the U.S. Olympic team. It was a totally different story last night in the Olympic Stadium in London. Here is Harrison setting a new world record in the 100-meter hurdles. She buries the field. The clock was corrected to 12.20, so she didn't realize it at first. The previous record was 12.21. She may not be going to Rio next month, but last night, a world record holder.
I'm just at a loss of words right now. I just trained so hard for this moment, and good luck to the girls running in Rio, and I'm just shocked right now.
Hey, after you've finished celebrating, will you make us a promise? Make that team next year and come back here for the World Championships in London in 2017. We'd love to see you.
I'll be back.
Congratulations to her. Team USA playing its first exhibition game last night against Argentina in Las Vegas. DeMarcus Cousins, who was in the starting lineup for the United States with the strong putback. Cousins just dominant on the backboard. Later in the first, he grabs another rebound, puts it in. Cuz goes on to finish with 14 points, 15 rebounds. Old Glory with an easy win, 111-74. That is a look at sports. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Now at 7:30 on WKYT this morning, Hillary Clinton has announced her pick for vice president. A closer look at Virginia Senator Tim Kaine just ahead.
In Madison County, members of a rescue squad want you to know that they're collecting money for a real cause and not a scam. What they have to say coming up.
And in Woodford County, people will eat and dance, all for a good cause. It's the Woodford Humane Society's annual Freedom Fest. That story is coming up on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Sean Moody.
And I'm Michelle Chamberlain, and I hear American Pharoah is involved in Freedom Fest.
Yeah, you might be able to come away with a pretty cool little piece of memorabilia from his run there.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
And good weather for it. A little bit steamy. Mike Linden is standing by at First Alert Weather Center. Good looking picture out there.
Yeah, this looks great, Sean and Michelle. But as far as good weather, I mean, it really all depends on what you term good, because it will once again be pretty hot out there as we head into our afternoon. Don't get me wrong, though. A beautiful view this morning in our live sky camera overlooking beautiful blue skies. The cloud cover is thin. We are seeing that slowly developing across the state, but otherwise we're not seeing any rain nor thunderstorms just yet. High pressure still keeping us relatively calm, which is built up here over the East Coast. But remember, around high pressure, we get that clockwise flow of the air. And it's for that reason that the hot, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico will get pulled right in. Look at what is happening right now over the Memphis area and over northern Mississippi. You're seeing thunderstorms appearing simply out of nothing. That's what happened yesterday in Kentucky, and that will likely once again happen here again today. Storms, though, are going to be so crucial to our pattern here the next few days, because remember, with thunderstorms, that means we get thick clouds, and thick clouds could limit our temperatures. You need sunshine to warm up. Coming up, I'll show you how those temperatures will be limited by these storms, and I'll show you when those storms should pop up.
Mike, thank you. In political news this morning, Hillary Clinton's vice presidential pick. This comes just days before the Democratic National Convention kicks off in Philadelphia.
Clinton also used her rally in Tampa, Florida to take down Donald Trump's convention speech. Jamie Yukas has the latest on the campaign.
Hillary Clinton ended the suspense Friday evening, tweeting her VP pick, moderate Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, whom she called a relentless optimist.
Are we ready for Hillary?
The 58-year-old married father of three is Catholic, fluent in Spanish, and a Harvard Law grad. The senator previously served as Richmond's mayor and lieutenant governor and governor of Virginia.
He's never lost an election. He was a world-class mayor, governor, and senator.
Kaine will join Clinton here in Philadelphia next week for the Democratic National Convention, which organizers promise will be disciplined and positive.
Did any of you watch that convention in Cleveland?
At a rally in Tampa, Clinton drew sharp contrast between the GOP convention in Cleveland and the one her party is getting ready to host.
Just remember, love trumps hate.
Fresh off his convention celebration, Donald Trump thanked supporters in Cleveland before taking on Clinton.
Hillary's trying to pick her vice president as fast as possible because she wants to take away a little of the success that we had at this convention.
Clinton and Kaine will appear together at a rally in Miami on Saturday. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Here in Lexington, a man convicted of killing his best friend will spend decades in prison. Mark Taylor was sentenced to 49 years for the beating death of Alex Johnson. Johnson was a chef at UK, and police say he and Taylor sold marijuana together. Taylor was not eligible for the death penalty. Johnson's father is not happy with the outcome.
You can go out and murder somebody like Mark Taylor did Alex, and he can't get the death penalty. He can't get life in prison without a chance of parole, and he can't even get 50 years in prison without parole.
Now Johnson says he's working with legislators to change the law to give other victims' families hope. Meanwhile, Taylor's attorneys are appealing the judge's decision to the state Supreme Court.
Police in Oregon say they found the bodies of a Kentucky father and son who disappeared nearly 2 years ago. Police say they found John Wood and Jason Wood dead in the Mount Hood National Forest. The two men were from Bardstown. Police think their deaths were a murder-suicide. The two men disappeared in September 2014, and police say they later found their car abandoned in the forest. Health leaders say the first known case of the Zika virus in Lexington has been diagnosed. The Fayette County Health Department says a baby born to a woman in Fayette County tested positive for the virus. Despite that, health leaders say the baby appears to be fine and now is at home. They say during her pregnancy, the mother had traveled to a country where the Zika virus is circulating. And doctors say the mother and child are not threats to public health.
Rescue crews had to use chainsaws to free a car after it slid off of Interstate 75. The Madison County Rescue Squad says a car heading south on 75 lost control during heavy rain and ended up off the road, wrapped around trees down in a culvert. Rescue workers had to chainsaw through to get to that car. There were 3 people inside, and they all walked away uninjured.
Members of the Madison County Rescue Squad are trying to raise money for their organization by going door to door in the community. The Rescue Squad is currently collecting donations because they say the $16,000 the organization receives from the county is not enough. Squad members who go door to door always wear a photo ID around their neck along with a required uniform. Now we have a link on WKYT.com where you can check to see which squad members are out collecting donations on any given day.
Lexmark shareholders have approved a merger agreement. A group of investors led by Apex Technology Company Limited and PAG Asia Capital are buying the Lexington-based company for $3.6 billion. That transaction still has to go through regulatory approvals and customary closing conditions. It's expected to be complete in the second half of this year. Today in Woodford County, people will eat and dance, all for a good cause.
Yeah, it's time for the Woodford Humane Society's biggest fundraiser of the year, Freedom Fest. WKYT's Mike Byers at our live desk this morning, getting us ready for the big event. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Michelle. Day 2 of Freedom Fest picks back up this evening. The event is held at Ashford Stud in Versailles, helping out the Woodford County Humane Society. Freedom Fest started 17 years ago around the 4th of July. Organizers say they started the festival to celebrate the freedom animals have from homelessness and neglect. Today's event will have lots of food and, of course, local beer and bourbon. The distractions will also play live music, and there will be auctions and raffles. There are more than 200 items in the auction. One of the featured items is a piece of horse racing history, one of Triple Crown winner American Pharoah's halters. Ashford Stud is now the home of American Pharoah and the host of this year's festival. Freedom Fest picks back up at 5:30 this evening. The cost of the event ranges between $140 and $110. All the money raised goes to the Woodford County Humane Society. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. Time is 7:37 now on your Saturday morning.
We've got some ways to save on new tech toys this summer. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
A gorgeous start across the state as we get going here on Saturday morning. But much like yesterday, we are quickly looking at the sunshine turning stormy. Coming up, I'll show you how we are looking at more of the same here in the dog days of summer.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with Mike Linden.
Here we go again. The dog days of summer continue on here in the Bluegrass, and get ready for yet another hot and humid day. If you plan on being outside at any point today, it's going to feel a lot like it has been the past several days. The summer is well and truly at its peak. We look at the Defender radar network, not seeing the cloud cover just yet, although the pop-up thunderstorms will certainly get here as we get into our afternoon. We're already seeing that to our south. Look at Memphis, look at Alabama, Mississippi, some thunderstorms already coming out of seemingly nothing this morning. We are not really seeing very much of anything thanks to this high pressure, keeping things relatively calm. But as this skirts off to the east of us, that is going to allow for that hot, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico to fire up those thunderstorms as we get into the middle of our day. Temperature-wise, we are now really starting to warm up. It wasn't too long ago that a few spots were still settled into the mid to high 60s. But now, most spots getting into the mid to low 70s. Louisville leading the charge at 75 degrees, with the state capital in Lexington not far behind at 71. The big picture here is that we have the core of the heat off to our west. This is where we're finding the triple digits, that incredible heat. But it's dry compared to what we are feeling in Kentucky. The humidity coming in from the Gulf, producing the storms, and those will continue to stay with us not only through today, but into the upcoming work week as well. The key, though, to all of this is that with thunderstorms, that means we're getting thick clouds, and that could limit the sunshine at the surface. That means that temperatures won't get back into that mid to high 90s range that some spots have been forecasting for almost all week long. But for that reason, we'll actually settle right around, like we were yesterday, into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Thanks to the pop-up thunderstorms, again, that's really going to control our temperatures here moving forward. Regardless, 89, 90, it's still hot. You tack on the humidity and it feels that much more uncomfortable. But watch this. We'll take you into the afternoon here with the hour-by-hour forecast. Just watch how those storms seemingly pop up out of nothing. It was like yesterday morning when we got started, a lot of sunshine, then all of a sudden the thick clouds got here, then the storms, and then our temperatures plummeted. That could certainly occur once again out there today as we head into our afternoon and evening hours. Sunday, more of the same as well. Look at this, right around 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow, pop-up thunderstorms staying with us through the evening as well. It isn't until Monday where we start to get back to the widespread thunderstorms. As we work our way into the upcoming work week, things do look a lot messier than what we'll find this weekend. So there's certainly some silver lining in all of this. But remember, with thunderstorms, that means heavy rain at times. And with that, we are looking at quite a bit of it over southern and western Kentucky, between about 1.5 inches to near 2 inches in some spot. Look at Wayne County, 1.93. That's a lot of rainfall. And if you look at central and eastern Kentucky, most spots right around 1.5 inches of rain. That could certainly cause for some flash flooding as we get into the upcoming work week, and that will be the theme of next week that we will be keeping a close eye on moving forward. But if you're looking at the 7-day forecast here and saying, well, this is unusual, we want the sunshine, this is pretty typical for what you would normally get in the summer in Kentucky. We're going to get some sunshine, some storms, and the heat. That'll be the consistent factor. That's the constant here moving forward. So a typical summer forecast here for you with hot, hazy, and humid conditions. When you're thinking of the dog days of summer, just look at that 7-day forecast. That's it right there.
And it's hot, and Sean is on Facebook Live right now, and one of the viewers saw the show from earlier when you were talking about short-sleeve suits.
If only.
He said he'd like to see it.
We've got some scissors in the newsroom, and we can make this happen.
I don't know if I would do it to this particular suit.
Come on, come on.
Buy one, but certainly not a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
It is hot enough.
Very trendy. Thanks, Mike. If you're in the market for new tech toys this summer, it always pays to shop around.
Yeah, in this Tech Minute, CNET.com's Lexi Savitas says ways you can find the best deals on those new gadgets.
Got a minute? Here are some ways to save money on tech purchases this summer and beyond. eBay is offering a summer series of deals to coincide with major events like the Olympics and Labor Day. On eBay's Twitter account, vote for items you want to see discounted. Once the vote concludes, the winning item is available to buy in the Android or iOS app for 48 hours. eBay also has standalone deals on tech items like laptops, phones, fitness trackers, and LED TVs that don't require voting or an eBay membership to buy. Honey is an extension for popular browsers like Chrome and Firefox that may save you money on Amazon purchases. Once installed, navigate to a product page and you'll see the extra button pop up next to the price if it finds a cheaper alternative. Honey also works on other sites. When you're viewing the shopping cart, click Try Codes so Honey can automatically apply them to get the best discount. In San Francisco, I'm Lexi Savitas, CNET.com for CBS News.
All right, 7:46 on your Saturday morning.
More news when we come back.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant. Kentucky's drug problem is not getting better. The state's Justice Secretary talks about what he calls a scourge on our state. Coming up on WKYT this morning.
Coming up, the day's headlines. Plus, is it Twitter's turning point? Harassment of a Hollywood star highlights hate on the social media platform, why many say it's already out of hand.
Plus, a new documentary shows a side of JFK Jr. that many of us never knew. We'll talk to the director and the woman who worked side by side with Kennedy till his final moments.
And from his turn in Amy Schumer's Trainwreck to his new film with Key from Key and Peele, Mike Birbiglia's face may not be familiar, but his comedy's actually wielding quite a big influence. We'll introduce you.
All that, plus your eye-opener, the dish and music from Mary Chapin Carpenter in our Saturday session just ahead on CBS This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning. I'm Bill Bryant, hoping you're enjoying your weekend. It is no secret that Kentucky has a bad drug problem, and the man who heads up law enforcement in the state acknowledges that. Justice and Safety Secretary John Tilley is a guest on this weekend's edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. He says the effects on individuals, families, and business are devastating.
Well, it's a scourge. I mean, it's an epidemic. When the Centers for Disease Control term it an epidemic, it is officially an epidemic. We lost 1,248 Kentuckians last year. We're third in the country in overdose deaths. The difference now is it's gone from a heroin battlefield to a heroin laced with fentanyl, or a fentanyl battlefield, which is an illicit drug that is manufactured now. It's synthetic. It's sometimes 50 to 100 times more powerful than heroin. And so we've moved so quickly from prescription pills, which are still around, to heroin, to now fentanyl, and it's all opioid based, and it's an opioid addiction problem. And until we break that cycle, we're going to be battling a different drug until we figure out a way to solve this crisis.
How does it so quickly morph from one problem to another?
Such great profit margin, cartels and commercial traffickers, and these operations that, again, that exist outside the United States that ship their drugs here and ship the again, the precursors to make these drugs here can do so easily. They can come across our borders very easily. We need the interdiction of the DEA and the federal government, and we need more of it. But until we figure out a way to be as flexible as necessary and to change the culture around what makes Kentucky in particular, but America so addicted, I think we'll be battling this for a long time.
Because you come back to the question, what drives the demand? If it were just coming here and nobody wanted it, it wouldn't be abused as it is.
That's right. I mean, there is a significant demand. Again, I think you can point to the reason that Kentucky is probably where it is in terms of, in so many cases, sadly, a national leader in some of these areas of addiction and mental illness. I think you bring up mental illness, oftentimes people are self-medicating a mental illness or self-medicating a trauma that occurred in their lives, whether it be physical or sexual. But in this case, this country consumes, and you can point to different opioids, but well over 90% in some cases of the opioids made are consumed in the United States, and that's startling. We tend to think there's a pill to cure everything and a fix for everything, and I think that began the country on a road to addiction with opioids, prescription painkillers, which then moved to heroin and is now moving to synthetics, which are easier to make. You don't have to get them from a doctor or prescription. They're cheaper to obtain. You can go down to your street corner and get them for a few bucks, and that's what is really driving this problem now.
A prosecutor in a relatively large Kentucky county recently told me that we are fighting hard, but we are losing. Your reaction to that?
I think that's accurate. I do. I think Kentucky, in many ways, and actually in most ways, is a national leader in drug policy. The recent National Safety Council report put out 6 recommendations, and Kentucky has met all 6, and we're only one of 6 states that has. The CDC has put out a list of recommendations, and the governor and I and our drug control policy director sat down to look at those recommendations, and we realized that we've met all of them. We need to challenge ourselves to go beyond that, but we're now leading the country in drug policy. Sadly, we have to.
You can see the entire interview with Secretary Tilley on Kentucky Newsmakers. We'll also be playing highlights of the speech by State Senator Ralph Alvarado at the Republican National Convention. Kentucky Newsmakers airs in its entirety tomorrow morning at 6 on WKYT. It repeats tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it one of those times. I'm Bill Bryant. Coming up more on WKYT This Morning.
Welcome back. 7:56 now on your Saturday morning. A Colorado man is being praised for taking action to save a little bear.
Yeah, the man says the cub was wandering around for nearly a week with a plastic jug stuck on its head, just like Winnie the Pooh, right? After several attempts, the man was able to lasso the bear and then worked with wildlife officials to finally free the animal by getting that jug off its head.
That's an artist's rendition of what the bear looked like. No, it's very cool, though, and it's always, kind of sad to see the animals with something stuck on their head and they won't let you get near them. But anyway, Mike?
It'd be even better if that guy's name was Christopher Robin, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Anyway, as far as your weather goes this weekend, hot and humid, not much is changing. The dog days of summer are well and truly here. Pop-up thunderstorms into our afternoon and staying humid. Be safe out there, but enjoy at the same time.
Have a great day.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching.